I love telling people in student affairs that I'm a work-life balance speaker, because whenever I tell them, I'm met with one of three reactions. The first one, uncontrollable laughter. The second one, a response that goes along the lines of, there's no such thing as work-life balance, and then they storm off like they're all angry about it. And the third one, which is actually the most common, is people try to redefine the term with me as if I'm the one that invented it. Well, Paul, we don't use the term work-life balance over here. We're into work-life optimization. I don't like work-life balance. I prefer to use the term work-life joy. It's really not work-life balance, you see. It's about work-life integration. Here's the deal. I agree, work-life balance isn't the best term. But if I came up to you in the street and said, hey, you want to talk about work-life joy? You'd probably look at me like I was a little funny. What we need to understand is that work-life balance, the emphasis should not be on the definition and the language we use. It should be on the organizational outcomes that spring from it. Work-life balance is a reflection of organizational culture. If you want to take the definition of the word culture, it's Latin. It comes from the Latin cultura, which means to grow or cultivate. And I have three simple questions for you as managers that will determine if you're growing or cultivating the right work-life culture. If your employees were asked these three questions, I want you to think about for a second, what would they respond to? And be honest about it. Question number one, my organization values the work I do. Question number two, my organization understands and is thoughtful towards the needs in my personal life. Question number three, I do not feel fear or shame if I have a non-work related illness or emergency, and I do not fear being punished for it. Answer those three questions. If I look at the data, if I were to ask your organization that, I can tell you by the data whether you have a positive work-life culture, if you're growing and cultivating the right kind of organization. To illustrate this, a year ago I was in a car accident. It was late at night, I had the podcast on 1 minute, the next minute my hood's flying off the road, and all of a sudden I'm wondering what the heck's going on. It dawns on me that I've been hit, I'm okay. I grab my phone, I make 2 phone calls that night. The first is to my wife, to tell her there's been an accident, that I'm okay, and that we're going to buy that new car a little sooner than we expected. The second call is to my boss, to tell her what happened, and to tell her that I might not be into work next day, but I was going to really try, because I was in charge of fall orientation. And that was the next day. My boss got back to me real quick. She said, Paul, I know you, and I know you want to be there. But you have done a great job organizing this. We will step in and do what needs to be done for you. I know you have other family commitments on top of what's already going on. Take the day off. There's always fall welcome next year. Let's worry about redefining work-life balance when we figure out if we have a positive work-life culture.